Imagine your life lasts only 10 years. What would you give to earn 5 more years with the people you love? Well, your dog wishes that he could be here for longer too, but his life is cut short by the darkest secret of the pet industry. Latest research now confirms that the food which promises to get your dog in good shape, provide him with all the nutrients he needs, and improve his digestion is actually cutting his life short by 1/3. That means that the average life of a pet could be increased by half if only your furry best friend was getting proper nutrition. Veterinary specialists were appalled by in-depth testing of some of the top food brands on the market. Observations and research carried out in the poorest countries of the world with large populations of stray dogs have revealed that these dogs live in fact much longer than the most pampered house dogs. Stray dogs in countries like India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, and Turkey are overall healthier because they get to pick the food they eat even if they have less access to it. In fact, researchers have observed that strays usually will avoid regular pet food when it's offered to them, unless they are severely underfed or have gone hungry for days. But house dogs have to eat what is placed in their bowl day after day because they trust their owners more than they trust their own noses and their instincts. They also eat commercial food because most dogs have been used to it since they were small pups, so their bodies are no longer able to recognize what is good food and what is bad food. Most of the food on the market is just junk food for dogs. Every scrap of low-quality meat and skin that the beef, poultry, and fish producers wouldn't even dare put in human food. They simply blend together and dump out into your dog's bowl. Even the highest-end pet food products on the market are worse than feeding your dog buckets of KFC morning, day, and night. Good Americans who love their pets are being duped with promises of fresh ingredients or real meat when even the most expensive food brands filled their formulas with wheat, vegetable oils, and corn. Have you ever seen wolves eat corn in the wild? No? Then it should never show up in your dog's food either. If you see such ingredients or something that says animal byproduct, you should stop feeding your dog with this food immediately. Foods like these have been causing massive increases in the rates of dog cancers, pet joint problems that cause permanent disability, and severe digestive discomfort and pain. Ever since these ad campaigns started running in the 70s, the rates of health problems in dogs have been skyrocketing. It was recently discovered by multiple studies done in University of Texas, Scotland, and Austria that most pets suffer from what researchers labeled as secret obesity. A small 3-pound increase in your dog's weight is equivalent to a 30-pound increase in your weight and does 5 times the damage to their bodies. Only 3 pounds can cut your dog's life by 1/3. Research has discovered that the damage is devastating, even if the pet seems perfectly fine, and the owners think nothing is wrong. And most people can't even tell if their dog is severely overweight because advertising campaigns for dog food showed you morbidly obese dogs as the new normal. The dog food companies are hand-picking these fat dogs and showing them to you as normal, healthy pups because they want to cover up for their poor quality standards. And your vet won't do anything about it. He might not even ever mention it because they rarely hear about it in school. Their education is focused on patching up major problems, often when they've become so severe as to be irreversible. Luckily for loving pet owners, there's also an easy solution to the problem. There are essential nutrients that your dog is lacking and that you could reintroduce into his diet today. According to scientists, these nutrients can wipe out years of damage done by poor quality food. You can find some of these nutrients in your kitchen right now, yet they're identical to what your dog would be eating if he was living out there in the wild. These nutrients can reverse the harm done to your furry best friend, and pet owners using them have already added years to the lives of their dogs. Experts estimate that this combination of nutrients can add between 2 and 4 years to your pet's life. Top veterinarian researchers and exclusive dog breeders to the celebrities consider these nutrients a wolf switch, meaning they kickstart your dog's natural ability to purify his own body as if he were still living like his ancestors, the wolves. They completely transform the blood circulation and nutrient absorption capacity of your dog, something wild dogs and wolves are naturally adapted to do. These nutrients that activate the wolf switch have become famous in high-end clinics for pets. The rich and famous take their pets and even their exotic animals to clinics that use these nutrients in specialized protocols to clean out the bodies of the animals of years of built-up toxins clogging their system. The latest research could finally help erase hidden pain that is tormenting millions of dogs out there. Imagine how grateful your dog would be to finally feel comfortable in his body after years of suffering he couldn't even speak to you about. Now beloved pets will get a new lease on life, immediately becoming more energized, getting their joints properly lubricated and more flexible, fixing digestion problems that have been causing bloating, diarrhea, and constipation for years, looking better than ever, and feeling no discomfort in their bodies.
Lady is my best friend. In fact, she's the only friend I had after all my 5 kids left for college. I could sometimes see in her eyes that she was in discomfort, but I thought I was doing the right thing. I mean, I was buying her all the very best food and top-end treats, and I never missed a vet checkup. It broke my heart to see her looking at me with those sad little eyes and not knowing what was up. Finally, after discovering these nutrients, she's like a small little puppy again. She's full of life and she's so happy. It's been life-changing. In fact, we're about 5 months into using these nutrients, and I'd say it's probably the best thing I've ever done for Lady.
My Sheltie Cooper used to run around in the backyard all day, but when he turned 7, I could see something change in him. He was still a young pup to me, but he was getting tired quicker, losing his spark, and having trouble with his joints and stomach. Sometimes he would even have a limp for a day or 2. The vet assured me there was nothing wrong, but I knew my dog better than anyone, and I knew he wasn't feeling well. So I took matters into my own hands. I started him on these nutrients, and now he's back to his old self again. I can tell how happy and grateful he is that I'm looking out for him.
I've never placed much hope in the vets. To me, they always jump the gun, recommending thousands of dollars in pills and scans and treatments, scaring you silly so they can recommend some fancy sounding product that doesn't do anything for your dog. I was sick and tired of it, so I started looking into it myself, and I read about these nutrients. My terrier Jack has never been happier. Now at 15 years old, he can outrun most of the younger pups at the park without breaking a sweat. He's in the best shape of his life, and I'll make sure to keep him that way.
My name is James Thomas, and I've spent the past 25 years traveling all over the world and rescuing rare and endangered animals in sanctuaries from Peru to Mongolia to South Africa and even Sri Lanka. My work has taken me to every continent, and I've dedicated my life to making sure some of the world's most endangered species survive us. I hope that my 2 kids, Daisy and Matthew, will get to see these animals in real life 20 or 30 years from now. I love animals, and I love my job. And I'm proud to say that in my career, I've helped save more than 132 lions, 29 rare Indian elephants, and even 4 polar bears. But my favorite case was a rhino that we called Rafiki, who was brought in from a traveling circus. He could barely stand and wouldn't eat anything at all. And after fighting to save him for 5 months, he was released into the natural reservation of Etosha National Park in Namibia. 13 years later, I still visit him sometimes, and nothing brings me more joy than seeing him roam happily and bathing in the sun. And as an animal lover, of course I have my own pets. My kids have 2 cats and about 5 hamsters last time I checked, but my joy and pride is Rex, my 9-year-old German Shepherd, who has traveled the world by my side. Rex was the only family I had when I was away from home, and he saved my life more times than I can count, alerting me when dangerous animals were closing in on our tent and scaring away small predators who would have otherwise attacked me. I swear he's just as intelligent as a person. And it might sound crazy to some folks, but I talk to him as if he were a person too. He never complained about flying in planes, even though dogs hate being flown around in cages, and he's always been fearless. Boats, trains, and even hot air balloons don't scare him. On the last trip we took to Thailand, I noticed Rex was not feeling the greatest, so I took him to the vet back home. The vet dismissed my concerns, telling me my dog must have caught some virus or bacteria or something, and scolded me for taking my dog to other countries. But I know Rex, and this didn't seem like just an infection that would go away. He'd lost his spark somehow, so I decided I would stay home and take care of him. I took him to 2 other vets, one of whom told me that at 9 years old, I should expect Rex to not be in the greatest shape, since that's usually how long shepherds live. Another one told me that old dogs simply don't have that much energy anymore, and to adjust my expectations. The 3rd vet even had the audacity to tell me that if the dog was not doing that great and was struggling, maybe I should consider euthanasia. I was a gentleman enough to walk out of there in a dignified way and not cause a scene. Besides, I'd seen so many animals saved from the brink of death that I was not about to give up on my own dog. But my heart was breaking every single day. It was clear that Rex was in more and more discomfort. He would limp from time to time, had digestive problems more and more often, and his coat was simply not as shiny as it used to be. He had trouble jumping up on the couch, something he always loved to do, and it would be much slower up and down the stairs. He had always had some joint problems and stomach problems, but it seemed to be getting more serious. It felt to me like no local vet was taking me seriously. So I called some of the vets I know internationally, and even they told me that it was old age and there wasn't much that I could do about it. But I knew what a difference it can make for an animal if you consider their health like the health of a loved family member. All of the vets seemed to recommend expensive procedures and tests. After seeing 4 vets, I'd racked up bills of $4,300, but with no results to show for it. Here I was, having saved so many animals that I would never see again, but I could not help Rex. I wondered whether staying at home and not traveling anymore wasn't also affecting him. He seemed to me somehow depressed and with no energy, which had never happened when he was running through forests or swimming through lakes and rivers. But I could not risk flying out with him while he was in such poor shape. I tried walking him more, and that seemed to help somewhat, but nothing else was helping. Not even changing his food or giving him supplements, not even the regular vet checkups. I finally decided to go to one of the older vets in the area that I heard recommended by several people. I was hoping that maybe he could help, since he had more experience. That's how I met Joe, who was 85, but he was still helping dogs because it was his life's work and he loved the animals. As soon as he saw Rex, Joe told me something that even I, as a specialist working with so many animals, hadn't thought about. He told me that we're so used to treating our dogs like family that we forget they are just well-behaved wolves. He told me that back in the day, when his dad got him his first dog, his pets were fed with meat and allowed to run around all day long like they were meant to. But nowadays, we keep them indoors and on leashes and feed them food that is basically doggy junk food. It's all processed with none of the nutrients the dogs really need to thrive. This got me thinking about recent studies that I had seen, showing that stray dogs in places like Guyana and India live up to 20 years, even though they live on the streets and in terrible conditions. So how come my very well cared for dog was deteriorating by the day when dirty mutts on the streets of Mumbai make it to 22 while drinking water out of some of the most dirty rivers on the planet? That's when Joe told me that the main problem is always the quality of the food. Think of this. As recently as the 70s, golden retrievers would happily live up to an average age of 17 years. Now, the life expectancy of a golden retriever is 10 years. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of what's happening to our dogs. Once I had talked to Joe, I finally knew what to look for. So I started researching all of this information for myself. It seemed hard to believe that dogs were dying way ahead of their time. And this was not a national or even international scandal. I mean, what pet owner wouldn't be absolutely fuming if they heard about this? But after doing months of digging, I was left shocked and more determined than ever to change things. Your dog's food is full of hidden hormones from genetically modified animal meat. All of the remains that the meat industry would never dare sell for human consumption ends up feeding your dog. Your dog cannot and should not be digesting any kind of processed meat, which often is exactly the type of meat which ends up in their dog food. You should also steer clear of generic meat products that are marked on the label as meat meal or meat and bone meal. These can contain roadkill, dead zoo animals, or dead livestock. You might be shocked to hear this, but pet food analysis has shown that this is what your beloved companion ends up eating. Not to mention that there are a lot of ingredients that should never even be fed to a dog. Vegetable oil, dried meat, which is basically just mashed leftovers of whatever meat is used for human food production, soy, all of these end up in your dog's food. In fact, the most common ingredients in your dog's food are not even meat, but grains. Now, some grains may be healthy for your dog, but only in moderation. And it makes sense. There's not a single tooth in the dog's mouth that is flat for chewing grains or leaves. In fact, have you ever seen a documentary showing a wolf eating a stalk of corn? Have you ever heard of a coyote munching on sunflower seeds? These grains are the main reason for the rise of heart disease amongst dogs. According to the Veterinary World Journal, this is because dogs suffer more and more from inflammation around the heart and in their internal organs. And do you know why your dog has inflammation of its internal organs? Because certain grains like rice, wheat, and corn that are most commonly found in dog food can cause allergic reactions in your dog, which lead to inflammation. The problem is that you can't see this inflammation with your eyes, and unfortunately, your poor helpless pup can't tell you about it. In fact, pet food companies have been paying hundreds of millions in settlements throughout the years when their pet food was found to not contain what the label said, or even to be deadly to dogs. Blue Buffalo settled for $32 million when their pet food was tested. Their products were not consistent with the company's True Blue promise, which stated that the products are formulated with the finest natural ingredients and made with no chicken or poultry byproduct meals, no corn, wheat, or soy, and no artificial preservatives, colors, or flavors. In 2007, multiple pet food companies paid a $24 million settlement when their food was tainted. Scores of dogs died because the pet food had contaminated wheat gluten and rice protein concentrate imported from China. Dog owners contend the tainted ingredients were responsible for the sickening or killing of hundreds of dogs and cats in North America. Hill's Pet Food has settled for $12.5 million in a class action lawsuit as recently as 2019. Smaller producers like Diamond Pet Food from South Carolina settled for $3.1 million after it was discovered that their food was contaminated and they never did any testing on the quality of their food for an entire year. And I could go on. And even when the food is not outright contaminated or does not contain more meat, the way it is produced is simply a health hazard for dogs. Have you ever wondered why dog food is always brown in color? Even though the packaging promises meat, fish, and veggies, even if the food is said to be organic and premium, its color is always brown. That's because it goes through a process called extrusion. This is where the ingredients are basically charred at 320 degrees Fahrenheit for hours on end. This is to prevent the food from going bad for a much longer time, keep the products on the shelf for longer, and you have it for less losses. But when the food is cooked above 280 degrees Fahrenheit, a reaction product called advanced glycation end product, otherwise known as AGEs, start forming. Now you won't see AGEs on any label because they're not an ingredient. They are the result of extreme cooking. And in humans, AGEs are linked to devastating diseases like diabetes, chronic kidney diseases, and Alzheimer's. In 2020, a study in the Journal of American Physiology and Animal Nutrition showed that cats and dogs fed with dry food were simply drowning in AGEs. According to the Anti-AGE Foundation, their accumulation in animals is associated with atherosclerosis, osteoporosis, cancer, diabetes, and declining cognitive function. We might never know the extent of the damage. And all of these problems are noticed no matter how bio, organic, or high-end the pet food is marketed to be. Feeding your dog regular pet food will keep it alive, but if you want your dog to thrive, then pet food is not the answer. And even the supplements that are said to help your dog get healthier are no better. Most of them are full of food coloring that is supposed to make the supplement look appealing to you, the owner, but they're simply a biological bomb for your beloved furry friend. All of the garbage that should never be in your dog's food leads to subtle weight gain that is devastating your dog's health. Even a 10% weight gain reduces lifespan by 1/3. Only 3 pounds on a dog can mean as much as 30 pounds on a human. Most weight gain can barely even be seen, but it's already killing your dog. The most recent statistics classify the majority of dogs in the US, 56%, as overweight or obese. Let's test it out. Can you spot which dog is overweight? While that makes obesity a major health crisis for dogs, it's a problem that's often overlooked, as many pet owners may not even realize their pets are overweight. In fact, if you want to find out whether your dog is suffering from weight gain, touch his back right now. If you can't easily feel his ribs, then your dog is already above his recommended weight. This is an easy-to-do test that vets immediately do to assess your dog. Dr. Ernie Ward, founder of the Association for Pet Obesity Prevention, declared, "I see people coming in consistently with 90-pound labs, and they say, 'She looks great.' Well, actually, that dog is 15 pounds overweight. This problem is called the fat pet gap, the mismatch between what we think a dog should look like and what a healthy dog actually should look like. And the amount of damage done by a few pounds is much, much greater in pets than in people." Dr. Carol Osborne, an integrative veterinarian at Chagrin Falls Pet Clinic in Ohio, adds, "Just being 10% overweight decreases a dog's lifespan by 1/3. But these companies are very interested in keeping this information hidden, so they have a smart trick up their sleeves. They use only overweight dogs in their commercials, looking all happy and loyal. This screws up your perception of what healthy dogs look like. In fact, those dogs you see in the commercials might already be in terrible pain because of their overweight bodies. So, now your dog's bigger body is slowing him down, making him move a lot less, which means that his blood is not moving as fast as it should be to clear out all of the preservatives, toxins, allergenic grains, and AGEs out of his organs. And this horrible chain of health problems is exactly what has cut down the lives of pets by 1/3 in the past 50 years. You might think that this should never have been happening, that someone should have done something to stop this deadly chain of pet food problems. Sadly, no one does, because there is no regulation of pet food quality in America. The USDA and the FDA simply don't monitor or inspect pet foods. Plus, there was not much taught about pet nutrition in school. Vets learn about the percentages of protein a dog should have in their diet, but never about what a quality protein source is. This is what Dr. Andrew Jones, writing for Dogs Naturally magazine, had to say about it. I was taught almost nothing about nutrition, and I believe that's true of most other veterinarians too. My education came from the food company representatives, the manufacturers sponsored events while I was a student, and later the food reps visiting the veterinary practices I worked in. So if the very people that put garbage in your dog's food are the ones teaching vets about pet nutrition, no wonder most younger vets have no clue how harmful it can be. Even the top brands of food are full of calories and AGEs. Food picked by humans for their pets is simply not doing the animals any good. I saw this with my own eyes in the wild animals I was rescuing. When they're taken out of nature, put in enclosures and fed whatever the human minders decide, the animals simply wither away. They lose their energy, and it's like every organ in their bodies gets rusty and slow. They start looking less lively, their coats aren't as full and shiny, and their skin gets flaky and wrinkled. Whenever I was looking at these rescued wild animals coming to the sanctuaries, I would think of plants that are simply not getting enough water and sun. The same thing seemed to be happening to these poor creatures. I just never thought it was happening to my own dog under my very own eyes. I whispered to Rex, "No worries, buddy. We'll get you back in good shape in no time. Before you know it, you'll be barking at zebras again." I knew there was a way to help him, but also all of the other millions of pets out there. I just had to find a way to change what he was eating, but without having to give him the right combination of freshly cut meats full of the nutrients that wolves usually eat. I thought of all these loved family members so well cared for who still end up suffering in silence and not able to tell their owners that they need help, that their stomachs were cramping, or that their joints were inflamed. If anyone was going to find a solution, it had to be me. But I knew I needed some help. I had worked with all sorts of animals, but because I had always focused on endangered species, dogs weren't my strong point. Dogs are part of a family of animals called canids, and they're closely related to wolves, jackals, foxes, and coyotes. I haven't worked much with such animals, but I knew some people who could help. My first call was to Dr. Montgomery, and luckily for me, I actually managed to reach him. I've been trying to talk to him ever since Rex started feeling sick, but getting to him is as difficult as getting to the president himself. He'd been working for 10 years for Russian oligarchs and Arab princes in the Emirates, taking care of their prized dogs. Most often, he cared for the most expensive dog breeds, like Tibetan Mastiffs, Pharaoh Hounds, and Czechoslovakian wolf dogs. These exotic species of dogs need to be very well cared for under very strict conditions. Oligarchs and princes were paying top bucks to make sure their dogs were cared for by the best and make their lives longer. Some of these dogs were race dogs who need to be kept in prime condition for as long as possible because millions of dollars can be lost or won on the performance of that dog. Most of these pets were fed with only fresh game and carefully calculated nutrients to keep their bodies in top shape. Their diets rely on nutrients that naturally exist in the diets of wolves and wild dogs who can pick their own food. They are rarely found in any commercially available pet food. I wanted Dr. Montgomery to help me find a solution that was just as good, but easier, because most pet owners can't afford the extravagance of having a specialist calculate every microgram of nutrient in their dog's food. He was reluctant to help me at first, especially because he only works with the custom treatments for each dog, and I think he only agreed because of my constant pestering. I can be very stubborn. He couldn't give me a ready-made formula, but he sent me hundreds of research papers to look at, and I wasted no time getting to work. I wanted to put together a formula of these nutrients that would get Rex and every other loved pet out there back into their peak form. I wanted to activate what Dr. Montgomery dubbed the wolf switch, a natural reaction of the dog's body to nutrients that turn him back into the fierce, healthy, and energetic wolf that he is deep inside. I was fascinated by this wolf switch, so I started piecing together all of the nutrients that were necessary to activate it. The first thing I discovered, which you should immediately do for the health of your dog, is to start feeding him rich broth from the bones of chickens and cows. Dogs love to chew on bones for a good reason, because the bone marrow contains essential vitamins and nutrients that can't be found in any other meat and that both dogs and wolves teach their young to gobble them up. Don't put in any human condiments like salt or pepper inside these broths. The vitamins and minerals in these broths will immediately help replenish the stock of nutrients your dog needs. The chicken broth is like a quick, efficient band-aid to any poor dog's stomach. Something that would truly comfort his belly and nourish him. But when it came to long-term health, I realized I needed something powerful to clear out all the toxins and chemicals that had been accumulating after years of using popular dog food brands. And in order to dislodge and clear out all of the toxins, the hormones from genetically modified meats, the irritant grains, and the food colorings clogging your dog's organs and bodies, the first nutrient I chose came from a natural root that has been traditionally boiled and fed to dogs in Japan for centuries. While most plants that you feed your dogs, like corn and wheat, can be toxic to your dog, other plants, especially roots, can have medicinal properties for the dog. That's why sometimes you can see your own dog chewing on grass or even certain tree barks. This root is traditionally used for soothing the kidneys as a blood purifier, relieving the lymphatic system, rheumatism, stomach ailments, and skin and fur problems. It's considered as valuable as gold, and it's famous for its liver support. Boosting liver function can help your dog fight infections, bacteria, and allergies, since the liver is the cleaner of the body. Together with the kidneys, it filters out all the impurities that threaten the body, and this is true for dogs as well as humans and even cats. This root, called burdock, also makes new enzymes that help the body suck up nutrients and acts like a fine-tuning machine for the liver. Burdock also improves the skin health of your dog. It allows for the skin to also filter out germs that cling to it and improves skin conditions such as psoriasis, mange, eczema, and inflammation. This root is such a well-known natural toxin cleanser that it was a no-brainer to start from here. But I also picked a second root, which you should look into also. This one has been used in Indian medicine for 5,000 years for its detoxifying properties. It acts as a hormone restorer, and it's a superstar in improving thyroid health, which is a common problem as dogs get older. Thyroid hormones are immediately thrown out of balance when your dog eats any GMOs. So it's no wonder that animal studies show thyroid problems in dogs have shot through the roof since GMOs have been let loose in agriculture. Medical studies have shown that this particular root improves cortisol levels, increases insulin sensitivity, and supports the adrenal function, which means your dog will also be less stressed, since the adrenal function is what keeps dogs relaxed. This root is ashwagandha and is one of the most effective hormonal detoxifiers. Now that I have found all natural ingredients to flush out toxins from the major organs of Rex's body, I moved on to the next step to get his health back in check. It was time to get rid of all that extra weight. You simply have to do this for your dog as soon as possible, because this is the only surefire way to keep him alive and thriving for longer. I discovered this one plant that is full of important minerals such as calcium, potassium, thallium, iron, manganese, copper, strontium, and zinc. But even better than that, a study made by researchers at the College of Veterinary Medicine, Kyunpook National University, Korea, showed that beagles who have been fed this plant for 8 weeks lost weight and got healthier. This plant contains brown adipose tissue, or BAT, which can convert fat into energy faster. That means that your dog will also feel more energized and ready to play as if he was a small pup again. This herb is ginseng. But not just any kind of ginseng. Only the ginseng most rich in ginsenosides, the active ingredient, will get you these fantastic results. Ginsenosides build resistance, reduce sensitivity to illness, and promote health and longevity in pets. The next step is one of the most important ones, which is why I recommend you use 2 potent ingredients to fortify the liver and kidneys of your dog. As I mentioned before, the liver and kidneys are the organs that filter out all of the garbage going through your dog's body. So it's extremely important that they are healthy and in good working order. The first one is a root that is one of the most important herbs in traditional Chinese medicine and has been used for thousands of years to strengthen immunity. It also improves kidney circulation, normalizes heart function, strengthens digestion, increases metabolic activity, and enhances DNA synthesis in the liver of pets. This root is the astragalus root, which is an adaptogen, meaning it can change its function depending on the specific needs of the body. But you also have to be careful. Even though there are over 2,000 species of astragalus, only one of them is suitable for pets. But when used, it can ease the early stages of kidney infection, help with kidney disease, or even renal failure. According to 19th century government records and newspapers, a man named Li Chung-yun, who consumed astragalus every day, lived to be 256 years old. Taoists in China have long cherished astragalus as a longevity herb. Today, we know this to be true from scientific research. We found that constituents in astragalus promote healthy cell replication and cellular DNA repair. Securing the appropriate species of astragalus can be quite difficult. That is because it is very rare and you can't find very large quantities of it. Now, the second root can be even more difficult to secure. This root is one of the most complete plant foods on Earth, and 1 cup serving of this plant will provide as much as 2,000 IUs of vitamin A, 20% protein, double of what spinach provides, vitamin C, K, D, and B complex, iron, manganese, phosphorus, and many other vital minerals. Medicinally, this root was used as a tonic to remove toxins from the bloodstream. It is also excellent for improving digestion and waste elimination. This root is dandelion root, which stimulates bile production and increases circulation in the liver. Dandelion root can also treat gallstones and gallbladder inflammation. You'd think that dandelions are everywhere, so getting your hands on some would be no big deal. But there are more than 250 species of dandelions, and the most potent, healthiest one is a species that's grown in the mountainous regions of Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. They have a similar look to common dandelions, but their leaves are generally thicker and they have a gray hue. But I couldn't stop there. Most dogs suffer every single day because of their inflamed joints. What's the point of almost doubling your dog's life if he's going to live in pain for the rest of his days? Unfortunately, most supplements out there that promise to help with the joint problems in pets only lubricate the joints themselves, but do nothing for the ligaments. Without helping the ligaments, they can dry up and lose flexibility, which means your pet will still be in pain and lose mobility in time. One ingredient you absolutely need for your dog is curcumin, and it can be found in turmeric. The most recent research on pets has shown that curcumin has powerful anti-inflammatory properties. That means all of the pressure in your dog's joints will be immediately relieved. Turmeric is also a powerful antioxidant, and antioxidants can slow down aging, degeneration, and increase lifespan. Unfortunately, adding turmeric alone is not enough. Turmeric is hard to absorb by the body, which is why a lot of pills, creams, and natural solutions containing turmeric do almost nothing at all. To be properly absorbed, turmeric needs fat to carry it. That is why we added MCT oil, which has smaller molecules than those you get from other oils. The smaller molecules are very easy to digest for your dog, with the added bonus that these molecules help to reduce swelling and inflammation associated with arthritis. So by pairing turmeric and MCT, we increase the anti-inflammatory effect by 93%. I also recommend to you the best bone strengthener I could find, Aquisitum. A living fossil plant is the best natural source of bone remodeling active ingredients. It contains silicone, a crucial mineral in the formation, density, and consistency of bone and cartilage tissue. And it is also full of bioavailable calcium. Commonly referred to as horsetail, the minerals in this plant are capable of being metabolized by the body for tissue repair, unlike most of the silicone or calcium on the planet. One study found that a daily dose of horsetail significantly improved bone density. And as I already recommended, I also added bovine collagen, which is the best source of collagen for dogs. For our pets, collagen makes up 30% of the total proteins in their bodies. As dogs get older, collagen often dries up, which can lead to arthritis, tendinitis, and degenerative disc diseases. All of these conditions can cause extreme pain for your dog. By getting collagen back into your dog's body, their joints can remain healthy and strong, delaying age-related pain. A study published in 2014 in the Journal of Veterinary Science showed the effect of collagen in 105 Labrador retrievers. What they found is that the earlier and longer you give your dog collagen, the better his mobility and overall health will be. Finding a source of high-quality collagen was a nightmare because it's used up for human supplements and beauty products. I was simply laughed out of multiple factories when they heard I wanted to put it in my dog's food, but I could not accept a lower grade of collagen. So I pleaded with multiple producers until I finally found my hands on the top quality collagen in the country. With all my research complete, I had my hands on something I dubbed primal nutrients, the precise, carefully calculated mix of ingredients needed for maintaining your dog's natural health, the very thing that can turn on the wolf switch. But I was worried that all of these primal nutrients, while essential, might not be very easy for Rex to eat up. I kept thinking of how to make this formula into the most delicious treat for my buddy. And that's when I realized that every single pet I've ever met loved chicken bone broth. Hell, I even loved it. But you have to be careful about this one too. Chicken bone broth that is used for humans is very dangerous for dogs. as it can contain onion and other ingredients which are not pet safe. That's why I carefully formulated my own with one of the top facilities in the United States. And that's why I recommend you only cook purified chicken bone broth with no condiments for your dog. I mixed all of the primal nutrients with the bone broth into a mouth-watering rich gravy. It was a solution I could easily carry with me and add to whatever meal I was feeding Rex. I even laughed to myself when I had the final mix and told Rex, "You're really getting the gourmet treatment now, bud." Not only did it convince Rex to lick up every single drop of the formula, but chicken bone broth helps to promote a healthy gut, the liver's detoxification of the body, joint health, and proper hydration in dogs. It's also full of chondroitin, glucosamine, hyaluronic acid, and all of these help with the joints, the shine of the coat, and the health of your dog's skin and teeth. I knew that I had finally found the complete formulation that would boost up every single organ in the dog's body, giving him a new lease on life. He could stay the same well-behaved boy I'd always known while regaining the health and strength of his ancestors, the wolves. This formulation would help his body eliminate years of clogged up preservatives, burnt food particles, toxic hormones, and food coloring that should never even be present in dog food. It would help relieve pain that's invisible to you, but also weight gain that most owners simply can't spot. Finally, Rex could live the full length of his years instead of dying in pain at just 9 years old. I only source the very best ingredients, not the leftovers that are usually dumped into other formulations that are supposed to help with your pet's health, because I do not believe Rex deserves less quality than I did. I admit, I was a bit nervous when I first fed it to him. He desperately needed the nutrients, but I didn't know if he would like the taste. But as soon as he sniffed it, he absolutely loved it. I added it to every meal and he would chow down every bite, begging for more at the end. Within the first week, I saw a huge improvement. No more limping, no more dull, sad eyes. He seemed like the lively pup I'd always known, running me around the streets every morning. His fur was a lot shinier, and he even had the energy to bark at the squirrels again. I was thrilled, but I knew that most people simply could not afford to go through all of the pain of finding every single one of these ingredients and mixing them in the right quantities. I was determined to share this primal nutrient treatment with as many dog owners as I could. If I had it my way, every single dog out there would immediately have access to this treatment. First, I had to make sure that the formula worked for every single dog, not just Rex. Luckily, I knew just how to get the primal nutrient treatments tested. I called up Joe, the vet who had started me on this journey, and asked him if he would help me recommend this to other owners whose pets were struggling. Out of my own pocket, I had enough money to make just a little over 100 batches for a 6-month supply of the treatment. As soon as I explained to Joe what I had researched and my conclusions so far, he was 100% on board, and he was certain no one would be hesitant to try out the primal nutrients. He couldn't wait to see the results with his own eyes and give his own seal of approval as a vet. I was ready to wait and find out what the results were, because miracles don't happen overnight. But within the first week, I already got so many grateful pet owners. Dozens of messages telling me how their old dogs who were struggling, or pups who had been born with health problems, were thriving with the new formula. The primal nutrients treatment made their dogs look healthier and have more energy. For many dogs, the improvements were visible everywhere. Better digestion with solid, less smelly stools, improved teeth health and smell, reduced joint inflammation. Their dogs no longer felt like tired old men, but the fierce, loyal wolves they were.
My terrier Jack has always struggled with his joints and stomach. For the past 4 years, it felt like an uphill battle, running from vet to vet, just trying to get him more comfortable. I never even dreamed he could be running around like a puppy again. And he even lost some weight. I feel terrible knowing that he suffered without the nutrients he needed, but now that we've tried this treatment, we are never giving it up again.
Dolly was my wife's dog, and after she passed, she was never really the same dog again. Now I had to take care of her, and it was clear to me that she wasn't just sad she lost her owner. Dolly's fur was losing its luster, and there were days when nothing would convince her to get up and go for a walk. Something else was clearly going on, and I suspected it might be the food. My wife used to hand mix Dolly's food every day. Now that I got her on this new treatment, she's like a brand new dog. I might not be cooking for her, but she is getting the healthiest gravy on her food. I know Catherine is smiling down on us and proud of me for taking such good care of her best friend.
I adopted 3 police dogs from our unit once they were formally retired, and all of them were in pretty bad shape. I thought it was just old age. They are 10, 13, and 15, but once they tried the primal nutrients treatment, they turned back into the fierce canine unit dogs I used to know. Now they run me around the trails behind our house every single day. Added bonus? Now even I am in the best shape of my life with all this jogging. Can't wait to get the next batch for them.
I was jumping for joy to hear all of these people getting more time with their dogs. I was always thinking of the pups getting more out of their lives. I even earned Joe's seal of approval. He did checkups on all of the dogs who were fed the primal nutrients treatment and told me he'd never seen anything like it before. He keeps asking me for more and more of the formula to recommend to hundreds of other pets he was caring for. I already knew it wasn't right to keep this delicious recipe only for Rex, but now I was more determined than ever to make it available to every dog owner who deeply cares about their canine friends. Besides, I couldn't keep paying out of pocket for months and months of supplies and rare ingredients. That is why I decided to create UltraK9 Pro. This is the only solution that won't just patch up your dog's here and there, or provide him with vitamins his body doesn't even need. UltraK9 Pro is able to clear your dog's body of extra weight you might not even be aware of. It will strengthen his liver, kidneys, and thyroid so they can scrub out unnatural GMOs, preservatives, toxins, allergenic grains, and AGEs out of his body. It will turn on the dog's natural wolf switch, turning him from a pampered and aging house pet into the fierce canine he's always been, no matter his size, age, or health condition. With just 1 or 2 drops a day easily added to his food, your dog's body will work better, his digestion will no longer cause him pain and suffering, the inflammation in his body will go down, especially the aches in his joints and tendons. And all of this will add back years to your dog's life. This is the only complete treatment for dog health and longevity, and it is also the most delicious treat for your dog's meals. Starting in the first 1 or 2 weeks, you'll be able to see your dog's coat shine, more energy with every walk, and your dog's stomach will no longer be churning and groaning after meals. But the biggest changes will come a couple more weeks down the line, when your best buddy will be running around like a young, happy puppy again, with no more digestive problems at all and feeling better than ever. It's like you've turned back the clock on your pet's health. But you shouldn't stop there just because the benefits are obvious. It takes a lot longer to clear up all of the residue of hormones, preservatives, toxins, allergenic grains, and AGEs in your dog's organs. The tests we have done on hundreds of pets show that the long-lasting results appear after 6 months to a year of regularly feeding your dog primal nutrients, especially if his main source of food is a store-bought pet food. If you're regularly feeding your dog raw meats and organs and homemade broths with no preservatives, then 3 months might be enough to get his body in top shape again and get him to shed some of the extra weight. You can feed your dog the primal nutrients treatment at any meal during the morning, afternoon, or night, but it's important you never skip a day. Your dog's body will need constant support for at least the first few months of this formula, especially since his liver, kidneys, and thyroid are probably working at a very low capacity right now. After 6 months, or when you see significant improvement, you can start skipping a day or 2 with no worries. You can add this primal nutrients treatment to any kind of meal, dry or wet, store-bought or homemade, and the bottle comes with a very easy-to-use dropper that does not leak, does not make a mess of everything like if you had to pour it out, and it always gives you the perfect amount of primal nutrients for your dog's meal. A small-sized dog will need 1 dropper full of gravy per meal. A medium-sized dog will need 2 droppers full, and a large-sized dog will require 3 droppers per meal. This complete formula of primal nutrients will clean the garbage clogging your dog's body and restore his organs so he can keep himself healthy in the long run. It's a long-term commitment for your dog's health, just like your dog is committed to loving and caring for you every single day. And because I was hell-bent on giving every single dog the best possible solution, I've managed to make UltraK9 Pro right here in the United States. Every single bottle of UltraK9 Pro is made right here at our Good Manufacturing Practices certified facility. We have quality assurance teams that make sure that every single batch of primal nutrients treatment has the exact right amounts of each ingredient. And every single ingredient is clinically tested and quality checked. We produce UltraK9 Pro under the most sterile and carefully supervised and rigorous standards. I will never produce it on an industrial scale because that always ends up destroying the quality of the product, which is why you will not find UltraK9 Pro on Amazon or any other website. I know many people start out trying to make treatments, supplements, or food for pets because they really love their own dogs. But unfortunately, once they go commercial on a large scale, they can't make sure the quality is kept. Many end up taking out essential ingredients or even replacing them altogether with cheaper, less potent alternatives. Or they start promising you miracle results in weeks, which is simply not possible. Your dog has been eating improper food for years. you can't simply expect miracles overnight. This website is the only place where you'll be able to find this formula of primal nutrients for your dog. And every single ingredient in the treatment has a certificate of authenticity and purity. It may sound ridiculous that I'm so obsessed with quality control, but I know how scary and depressing it can be to see your dog suffering, getting more tired, and lacking energy every single day. You try everything out there. Take him to the most expensive checkouts and very little changes. Most of the owners I've talked to end up spending thousands of dollars on useless checkups and treatments for their dogs. When the dogs got older, some of them even confessed to considering putting their dogs down because they could not keep up with the bills racking up and their dogs suffering day after day with no end in sight. Our dogs deserve so much better than that. I know how important these primal nutrients are to every single pet out there, so I fought hard not only to have all of them inside UltraK9 Pro, but also to bring you the best price possible without compromising at all on quality. The quality of our dog's food has already been compromised enough. The first few batches that I managed to make cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars to source, mix, purify, and package them. I was lucky enough to get some financial support from people who had rare dog breeds and were very interested in keeping their expensive race dogs alive and performing for as long as possible. But I knew I could not ask regular Americans to spend a few $1,000s a month on their dogs. Even if most dog owners love their pets, most folks simply can't afford it. So I started bargaining hard with every single supplier of all natural ingredients I use. They could already see that I was very serious about this formula. So some of them were willing to negotiate better prices, but some simply knew they were sitting on a gold mine and I needed them. It was a lot of back and forth and I had a lot of setbacks, but I am proud to bring you UltraK9 Pro for a cost as low as $1.50 a day, which is the cost I've been able to negotiate down to and not pay out of my own pocket for it. That's about the price of feeding your dog a can of wet dog food a day. Only that can will contain none of the primal nutrients your dog needs and is full of toxic AGEs, genetically modified meat, and God knows what else. One bottle of this primal nutrients treatment will cost you as low as $39 with my special discount on a small boy size package. The 6 bottles is the lowest quantity I would recommend for the small size dogs if you want to make sure that he gets rid of all of the unwanted weight that is destroying his body and clears out all of the toxins in his system. For medium or large size dogs, I have the special big boy pack at the exact same price per bottle and with the right quantity for your best buddy. This pack has 12 bottles that will clear out your dog's weight gain and scrub his body clean of toxins. And make sure you get the right pack from the very beginning. You definitely do not want to interrupt the body's natural process of readjusting to primal nutrients. This primal nutrients treatment needs to be followed daily. Otherwise, your dog's weight could start to yo-yo, putting even more pressure on his digestive system, kidneys, and liver. And unfortunately, I don't know for how long I'll be able to keep up this page. Some of the ingredients are very rare and hard to come by. The correct astragalus root and the Japanese burdock are some of the hardest to find, and I fear that when I run out, I won't be able to find them again for a long time. And I will never sell a treatment that is not complete. Between the first test we ran on the primal nutrients treatment and actually putting this page up, it took me more than 9 months to find the necessary quantity of the ingredients. And even with the quantities I have available now, I can barely keep them in stock, but I've tried my best to make UltraK9 Pro available for as long as possible and for the lowest possible price. Not only that, but since you are committed to making this change for your dog now, I want to make sure your pup gets the very best life possible. That's why for the small boy package and the big boy package, I will cover the shipping costs myself, and I will offer you 2 bonus books that are guaranteed to make you the proudest dog owner and your dog the absolute happiest dog. These books gather together some of the tricks and secrets of the top-rated pet experts, dog trainers, and race dog groomers in the world. I was only able to bring together all of this research because I know most of them personally through my work. And even though this information is valued at thousands of dollars in specialized training, I will give it to you for free because every loyal, loving dog deserves the best care and the best health in the world. The first guide is The Handsome Boy, Groomer's Secrets to Keeping Your Dog's Mane and Teeth in Perfect Condition. Inside this guide, you'll discover things like a groomer's warning. If you're brushing your dog like this, you should stop immediately. 3 signs to look out for and discover hidden cavities that might cause pain for your dog. The easy trick for petting your dog that experts use to decrease shedding. Which liquid you should never feed your dog because it can make your dog sick. And the easiest way to brush your dog's teeth and keep them calm and relaxed while doing it. The second guide you'll receive is Best Dog, Best Owner, Leading Your Dog Fearlessly. You'll learn how to form the best team with your dog and deserve his loyalty and trust with tried and tested methods by the world's leading experts on dog behavior and training. Inside the guide, you'll discover how to understand what your dog is trying to tell you, the 5-second trick that's guaranteed to distress your dog, the 3 activities that your dog longs for and is hoping you will set up for him, easy hacks that will make your dog instantly listen to you, recommended by military dog handlers, plus top 7 dog training tricks the CIA has been using for over 40 years. When the selected package that is suitable for your dog gets to your door, make sure that you place the first bottle of Primal Nutrients treatment right next to his food. That way there's no chance of you forgetting to add it to every meal. It might take a bit of time before you start seeing some of the radical improvements of your dog's health and well-being, but once the wolf switch is turned on, you'll feel like you've gained your best friend back. He'll be more energized, more happy, and simply not bogged down by all the aches and pains in his body. You'll also enjoy all the rare tips and tricks that you have at your fingertips with these training guides that you won't find anywhere else. With all the secrets in these bonus books and the primal nutrients for your dog's health, you're definitely going to stand out as the best friend that your dog deserves. Because love for your pet means you decided to take action, to make him a healthier and happier dog. And because I wanted to help as much as I can, not only have I made the shipping completely free for the small boy package and the big boy packages, but I will also give you my 60-day, no questions asked money back guarantee. I know that any changes, even good ones, can be scary. You've seen how many dogs' lives have been radically changed by UltraK9 Pro. But I still want to make this an easy choice for you. If you've tried the Primal Nutrients treatment and for any reason at all you're not fully convinced of its life-changing effects on your dog, you can return the bottles within the first 60 days and we will give you every cent back, no questions asked. You will also not be charged anything other than what you see on the screen. There are no hidden costs, no rebills, and you will not pay a single extra cent out of your bank account. When you click the package that you find below in this video, you'll be taken to a 100% secure checkout page. After you fill in your information and place your order, your dog's pack of UltraK9 Pro will be reserved under your name, and no one else will be able to buy it. There are so many people just wanting to get their hands on it right now, but you will be keeping your priority if you decide now. You'll also receive an email confirmation from me and information on how to get in touch with our support team if you have any questions or need help with your order. We're here for you 24/7. Don't forget, the only way you can get UltraK9 Pro is directly from this website right now. You won't find us on Amazon or anywhere else. This is the best deal out there, a one-time payment for the exact right quantity necessary for your dog, and it will definitely save you thousands on vet payments, lab tests, joint support supplements, and so many other health costs that only rack up because your dog is not getting the nutrients he needs, and his body is breaking down slowly but surely. This Primal Nutrients treatment will make sure he gets the nutrition of his ancestors, which is the only thing he really needs to keep his liver, his kidneys, his thyroid, his joints, tendons, and teeth in prime condition for years to come. If you want more Primal Nutrients for your dog after you finish the first round, you'll be able to order again. But I can't guarantee this page will still be up. Stocks are simply flying off the shelf because so many people who love their pups have been waiting for so long to get a complete formula that will make their dogs healthier and add years to their lives. So, if you think you might want more UltraK9 Pro after the first round of treatment, make sure you order the full amount now while it's still in stock. I'm willing to take this risk and give you free shipping and a 60-day, no questions asked money back guarantee, plus 2 top value guides, because I have no doubt in my mind your dog deserves the best health possible. He deserves to live a longer and happier life. I'm sure he would do the same thing for you if he could. For your dog, you are his pack leader, and he would protect you at all costs. We all have a duty to live up to our dog's love and respect, and that means taking care of his health first. Because love is something you do. It's a gift you give your dog that he returns tenfold every single day. I know you've been with me so far because you love your dog. You want to give him the best life possible. I know you want to be able to see him barking at squirrels, playing fetch with him, and just seeing him sleep in the sun for years to come. Because you can buy many things in this world, but you can't buy love and loyalty like your dog has for you. So click the package that's right for your dog and give him back his health and joy for life. This Primal Nutrients treatment is bulletproof. But if for any reason you're unhappy with your order, then it will have cost you literally nothing. Just get in touch with our customer service team and tell them you're not fully convinced. They will refund you every single cent with absolutely no questions asked. Just please give this a try for the sake of your dog. I'm simply thrilled that you're willing to give your dog a fighting chance, just like the thousands of other pet customers who've seen the incredible transformation of their pets right under their own eyes. So choose the package right now and take the first step. I've given you the best combination possible so you have the best nutrients for your dog. The rest is up to you. You really have nothing to lose, but your dog has everything to gain. Make sure you select a package large enough so your dog does not run out of the primal nutrients, and I know you'll be just as excited to meet this healthier version of him as I am. I'm James Thomas, and I simply can't wait to hear your pup success story. Still here? I know it's hard to commit, so I want to make sure that you have all the information you need to kickstart this amazing change for your loving dog. So what is UltraK9 Pro, and how does it work again? UltraK9 Pro contains a spectrum of carefully selected primal nutrients, which can turn your dog back into the fierce, healthy, and energetic wolf that he is deep inside. These special nutrients are able to clear your dog's body of extra weight you might not even be aware of. It will strengthen his liver, kidneys, and thyroid as they can fight against unnatural GMOs, preservatives, toxins, allergenic grains, and AGEs that are already in his body. Now your dog's body will work better. His digestion will no longer cause him pain and suffering. The inflammation in his body will go down, especially the aches in his joints and tendons. And all of this will add back years to your dog's life. This is the only complete treatment for dog health and longevity, and it is also the most delicious treat for your dog's meals. What are primal nutrients, and why are they important for my dog? Primal nutrients are special nutrients that can activate what some researchers call the wolf switch, a natural reaction of the dog's body to these nutrients that turn him back into the fierce, healthy, and energetic wolf that he is deep inside. Dog owners who fed primal nutrients to their dogs saw that their dogs looked healthier and have more energy. They also had better digestion, with solid, less smelly stools, improved teeth health and smell, and reduced joint inflammation. Their dogs no longer felt like tired old men, but the fierce, loyal wolves they were. How do I give my dog this formula? You can add UltraK9 Pro to any kind of meal, dry or wet, store-bought or homemade, and see him chow down on every bite, begging for more. How do I know if my dog will enjoy UltraK9 Pro? UltraK9 Pro tastes like rich chicken bone broth, and every single pet I've ever met loved chicken broth. We spared no expense at making UltraK9 Pro the most delicious and nutritious possible. So far, I've heard nothing but positive feedback from thousands of dog owners on how much their dogs enjoyed UltraK9 Pro and living the best years of their lives. When can I see results for my dog? Starting in the first 1 or 2 weeks, you'll see your dog's coat shine, more energy with every walk, and your dog's stomach will no longer be churning and groaning after meals. But the biggest changes will come a couple more weeks down the line, when your best buddy will be running around like a young puppy again, with no more digestive problems at all and feeling better than ever. It's like you've turned back the clock on your pet's health. The tests we've done on hundreds of pets show that the long-lasting results appear after 6 months to a year of regularly feeding your dog primal nutrients. Especially if his main source of food is store-bought pet food, if you're regularly feeding your dog raw meats and organs and homemade broths with no preservatives, then 3 months might be enough to get his body in tip-top shape again and get him to shed some of the extra weight. How does the guarantee work again? When you click on any of the packages below that are the right choice for your dog and place your order, you'll be covered by our full 60-day 100% money-back guarantee. This means if you change your mind at any time or for any reason at all, you can just email our customer support team and we will refund your entire investment in the UltraK9 Pro, no questions asked. There's absolutely no risk for you. Okay, I'm ready to make my order. What now? Just click on any of the packages you see below this video and place your secure order. Make sure you do it before stock runs out. The small boy and big boy packages are by far the most popular option because they completely clear your dog's body of burnt food AGEs, genetically modified food hormones, and any other additives that might have been clogging your dog's organs for years. So most pet owners immediately choose them. Pet owners also love those options because of how much money they save by choosing them, and because they can't wait to get their hands on our 2 bonus books written by specialists. When you finish your purchase, we will rush to send you your order because we know how important this change is for your dog, and we're excited for you and your pet. We want your dog to finally live a fuller, longer life with less joint pain, digestive issues, and aches everywhere, and we want you to enjoy this life with him as soon as possible.